Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building, Wayne Brady.
Yes,
Welcome,
sir.
Welcome.
It is a pleasure.
In person.
In person, I get to see y'all face to face, man.
That's right. Yeah, we spoke to him during the pandemic Zoom.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Needless to say, it sucked for so many reasons, but it looks like we're trying to dig our way out of that hole, and now we can actually have some human contact. That's why I'm in New York now, being able to do theater, being in front of a live audience. So so we're on an upswing.
How was your pandemic? We seen some of it on social media of how you lived it. For people that don't know, how did you spend your pandemic time?
I spent my pandemic healing. I didn't realize that I missed my family as much as I did. I'm basically at heart, I'm a homebody. I live for my family. I love my daughter. She is my universe. My ex-wife is my best friend, and her boyfriend is one of my best friends. And I'd been on the road so much and filming and working, which is the blessing, but I got to spend this uninterrupted time with my daughter and connect with her as a young lady, because during the pandemic she was like from 16 and a half to just turning 18. So that was a really formative year and a half of I could be with her, talk to her. She got her first real boyfriend right as the pandemic begun. So all these issues that happened, thank God I was present. Gotcha. Because I felt kind of disconnected. So for me, yeah, the pandemic sucked, but the one good thing that came out of it is the grace of family.
I saw that you were doing a sitcom based on your blended family. Did that spring from the pandemic, or was that an idea you had prior to that? We
had that idea years prior, but here's what's funny. You know how show business works and people, you can have an idea in April, and everybody's like, oh, that shit's corny. I'm never listening to that. But something happens in December, everyone's thinking, you're a genius. Like, it's the same idea, and I'm the same person. So what happened was they ended up seeing our TikTok videos, and the networks that passed on us the first time around, like 5 years earlier, came back, we want meetings, we want da-da-da-da. Said, well, it's the same family with the same dynamic, but you get to see it on display. And also, the pandemic was the perfect runway for a lot of creative stuff because everyone was at home.
Yeah, people found it so unusual that you could be best friends with your ex-wife, can co-parent the way that you are. I see they adopted a child, and you're also going to be co-parenting with that baby as well. But how do you get to that space? I know it wasn't an easy road.
That's the sitcom that I really want to make because that's the real is you look at it on TikTok, and I talk about Mandy, shout out to Mandy, my ex-wife is my best friend. No, she actually gets mad when I say Mandy, my ex-wife, because folks just distill her down to that. She is an amazing creative in her own right, and I give her so much credit for my early success because she put up with all my early ideas and told me to go for it. She's brilliant, and she runs my company. We went through such a period of, God, when we got divorced, we loved each other, but then we have this kid, and I'm running nuts. It was my first time being single, so I'm being an idiot, and we couldn't agree on co-parenting, and we're constantly fighting, and I'm just being an asshole, and we're bumping heads. And there's a moment when you're like, I just want some peace. And you learn that in order to get peace, we need to be on the same page. So I need to be respectful as the father of this beautiful daughter. I need to give her mother all respect and praise and due. So I need to pull back on my nonsense and actually listen to her, which was part of the problem.
I need to know what this nonsense is, because when you said you were being an asshole, like, define that.
I just think in the sense of it had to be my way or the highway. I know what's right. I'm working. I'm making this money. I'm blah, 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 up on some that kind of nonsense, which stops you from listening, and which is ironic because part of what my big skill set on this planet is to be able to improvise and bring joy to people in that way. I'm an amazing listener on stage. I'm a great actor. I'm super present. The place I wasn't present in my life.
In the crib, right?
So we had to get to that place, and at the time she was dating one of my dancers, which is Jason. So Jason was one of my dancers in my Vegas show. They got together.
How did that work out? Like, how did Jason you see every day start dating your ex, and how did you take that?
Ego.
Wayne Brady gonna have to.
Because now you gotta fight me because you've been around all this time. Now you owe me 5 minutes, Jason. You know what I mean?
Man, See, I'm saying it like it's a joke, but there was a time. Thank God that Jason is. I give Jason credit as well, man to man. Jason is a beautifully. Either Jason at that time was beautifully evolved, or just so kind of like whatever that my rah-rah and my agitation towards him, he really didn't let it get to him. Mm-hmm. And now in hindsight, at one point, when they were dating, I pulled up outside of her house like at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and it always happens, like one of those old R&B songs when you've had a couple drinks.
Right, you had that radio above your head.
Listen, I'm just a guy who just standing outside. I'm like, you know what? Tonight's the night. I'm not going to let him. He's not going to raise my daughter.
Right.
I won't come in that house. I pay for this house. Like I was the lead in a bad Tyler Perry movie. Okay. I pay for this house. You come outside right now, motherfucker. I pay. What an idiot.
What did Jason do? Did he come outside?
He's like, hey, man, what's going on? I tell you what's going on. And for years, I was on that track. I could not live with the fact of, how dare you? You were my dancer. You worked for me. You know how much I like. How dare you be? Once I was able to start going to therapy, which I have to advocate and say, especially to people in our culture and in the Black and Latin world, culture has been, therapy has been thought of as a dirty word, or it's something that we don't do. Get over that nonsense. The best thing that I ever did for my mental health and for my relationship with my daughter and just for me walking around in the world, going to therapy.
What got you there? And did you fire Jason when you find out? Like, he's your dancer. You find out he's dating your ex. Did you you're fired? You had to fire him. You had to. Just that.
Well, just to clarify for folks listening, we were already divorced. Well, we were separated and getting the divorce papers, right?
Gotcha.
So Mandy didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Nobody was running around, which is why I claim my stupidity. I claim my ignorance.
Some people do say that's against the bro code, though. Like, were
know
y'all
what?
friends? You and Jason friends?
We were friends, but the reality is he was working for me. He wasn't like a dude that I would take a bullet for. No offense, Jason.
Damn it, Jason.
He was a dude that worked, like at the time. Now Jason's family.
Right.
He was on my payroll. I sign your checks.
Right, now you'll call 911.
Right, now I'll call 911. Oh my God, he's shot. Quick, please hurry up. He's got a baby. Right. So yeah. But then I should not have taken that stance.
Right.
Jason didn't owe me anything. So in that instance, the bro code didn't apply. I think that it was, and Mandy, she didn't have to ask me. Mandy said to me, which is why you need to communicate with people. Wayne, I am going to start dating. We'd already been separated for a couple years. Wayne, I'd like to start dating. I believe that Jason and I have a connection. I was like, oh, sure. Hey, yeah, do what you want. I'm grown. I'm in Vegas. No, I should have expressed my true opinion.
Oh, so she told you. She was real.
She told me
You gave it your
was
blessing
real.
with your ego.
I gave it a fake blessing.
Yeah, you gave it a
my
fake
ego
blessing.
gave it the Pope wave. It was like, sure.
I'm Wayne Brady.
Do
He was
you,
the
boo?
dancer at the time. He was my dancer.
He's
Go
my
ahead.
dad. You don't want. You'll see.
Now,
You'll
look,
see.
what were you doing during
Damn it,
this
man.
time?
What was I doing during this time? Everything.
Everyone?
Just just being messy. And I say that because I think when this happened, I was in my mid-30s, and I'd been in a committed relationship. I was married twice. I got married once when I was 21. Don't do that, kids. And then I got married later on, and Mandy and I were together for years. So when we got divorced, it was like, I'm rich, and people know who I am, and I'm in Vegas. I'm going to do everything I couldn't do when I was 16. So talk about arrested development. So I really needed to learn to mature. So coming full circle, that's why my daughter truly is my everything, because she is the one act that I feel that I've been a part of that is so good, and that I can actually show up for her and be a man and model certain behaviors and go, this is what you don't do. And I'm not saying I'm perfect now.
Right.
I'm still trying to learn.
We're all learning.
I'm still trying to learn.
Did she ever ask you questions about that time? Like, she remembers when you did this?
Especially now, she will joke with me. She's like, oh, you mean Vegas was so much fun when I was a kid, Dad. I said, oh, yeah, right, we had great time. You mean like when you would come up and kiss me and say, go to bed because you were going down to the club? Because my show was at the Venetian, so I might forget the big club that's at the Venetian.
Times. You were at
She said, Tao. She said, oh, yeah, when you were at Tao? How do you know? I said, I completely remember. And then when you showed up with, like every other week you had an auntie, like, this is your auntie?
No,
such
you
and
did
such.
not call
This is
these
your
women
auntie?
her auntie.
Well, you got to teach people respect.
Auntie.
Yeah, man. So, yeah.
So how did you end up in the house? How was that conversation? So the pandemic happened. LA is crazy. Everybody's scared. Did you make the phone call and you be like, hey, I'm home now. Can I come over? Like, how did that conversation happen?
Well, because we've always been a tribe. So I've always made sure that our homes are relatively close to each other because the way that we've split custody, maybe it doesn't work for other people, but for us, because we've been divorced since Miley was, I don't know, like 5, 6, it's always been like a week on, a week off. So we wanted to be close enough that if she wanted to come to my house, boop, we just go back and forth. So there's never been an interruption. So we were close enough that we said, okay, well, this pandemic is happening. We need to circle the wagons. And I lived with them earlier that year because my house was being renovated. So I actually lived in the house with her, Jason, and Miley. So that's when we even started talking about trying to write a sitcom because we just thought, this is really funny.
And unusual.
This is funny and unusual. And I was so happy. I was like, oh, I actually am in the house with Jason and Mandy in their bedroom, and Miley's in hers, and I'm in one, and I'm completely okay with this. And just thought, oh, that is a blessing that I don't want to kill anybody, and nobody wants to kill me, and we're a happy family.
And how does your daughter take it? Because now with her boyfriend, because you said she had a boyfriend, now she has 2 dads that this guy has to come and talk to now.
Yes, he does.
So how is that?
Yes, he does. Jason and I tag teamed him.
I'm sure.
Yeah, man. And that's another thing that I'll say to anyone, that it's very macho and it's very ingrained in us and in our culture to want to be possessive of the person in your life. Here's a good lesson. Instead of going, well, I don't want my chick with this dude and he can't come into that house raising my kid, think of it this way, which was the healthiest way that I had to think of it. Mandy chose a good dude. When I'm on tour, when I'm shooting, when I'm in another part of the world, I've never gotten a phone call from my daughter saying, Daddy, please come home. This man is hurting my mom. This man is being mad to my mom. This man has touched me. Jason showed up at every PTA event, showed up at school plays, drove her to school when I wasn't there. He held her down. He held down the fort when I wasn't there. So instead of looking at it as someone taking from you, we have an insular village. Like we are strong.
More support.
More
all
support.
for your daughter.
And he knows that I've got his back. I teared up when I knew that they were adopting the baby because they tried to have a baby for years when he approached me about being a dad. That was one of the most amazing feelings for this other black man to look at me and ask me, hey, I'm going to be a dad. I've seen you be a dad. Help me. And I said, absolutely. Anything that you need, man, I'm there.
Anything is possible because there are so many people going through these relationship issues, breakups, there's children involved, and a lot of times people don't put the kids first.
No, because we get stuck in ego. And ego is a healthy thing. Ego is that force that makes us get up in the morning and realize our self-worth. But ego is also that thing that makes you make horrible decisions. It's that thing, it's like the Dave sketch, when keeping it real goes wrong. Your ego will talk you into some stupid shit just in life.
Next thing you know, you're in jail.
Next thing, well, at least I was real. Well, and now you've lost. There's a world, if you believe in, the multiple world theory and quantum physics of it, there's a world where Wayne did not change his mindset when it came to Mandy and to Jason and how to have a family. And that person does not have the relationship with his daughter that I have with my daughter now. That person does not have that trust and love and is sitting in the house by himself someplace.
So although they love you as part of the family, while your home is being renovated, were they like, okay, can you finally get out?
No, luckily I didn't overstay my welcome.
Okay.
No, because I would have gone to a hotel at that point. It was like, look, it's Thursday. I got to hit the road.
So I was going to ask, so for couples out there and parents out there and relationships out there, the first thing they would ask would, how did you get to that place? Was it an open conversation? Did you have a conversation with your ex-wife Mandy first, or was it with Jason first? How did you get to that point where everybody, because we only see it very few. You don't really see. You always hear the horror stories. So for people out there, couples, how did you get to that spot? What was the first step for you? Was it therapy? Was it get rid of the ego? Was it conversations?
I think it all happened concurrently. So I had to have therapy because then the therapy wasn't for us. The therapy was for me because, like a lot of us, a lot of trauma. And I think when it comes back to, because you ask a lot of people, especially in our world, well, what do you think when you see Wayne Brady? And they may think of just the network shows that they've seen. They're like, oh, well, Wayne's always smiling. Wayne's always this, da da da. That is part of that package, and that's part of that world, and that masks a lot of what I suppressed for years and years in terms of trauma, in terms of not wanting to deal with things. And so the dude off camera was so super dark. So I needed to come to some sort of balance so that I could be authentically real and that smile not be fake. And that had to happen first before I even approached Mandy, because it took me years to realize that I was even being dishonest in my relationship, because that person was my representative that I was presenting to her. So I needed to go to therapy, work my stuff out. And that got rid of some of the ego, not all, so that I can even approach her and go, hey, you know what? Maybe I've been approaching this whole thing wrong, and you are a grown woman and you're entitled to do what you want to. I would love to apologize to Jason and to sit down and talk to him man to man and as an equal in this familial aspect.
I know she was like, thank you, God.
Yeah.
Because it made life so much easier. And I remember like 7 or 8 years ago even, you talked about dealing with depression. And that wasn't so much of a conversation back then as it is today, right?
Amen. Right. And now, especially in the culture, it's become a conversation. And that makes me so happy, because part of the narrative has been, especially among not just us, but we've then perpetrated it enough internally that it's become the narrative in general, that we don't need help, we're strong, we're tough, we're this, blah, blah, blah. Look, everyone needs some help.
Right.
It doesn't make you weak. In fact, the breakthrough moment for me was when I could actually look over to Jason and go, hey man, can you help me out? Can you go over to my house and pick Miley up for me? Just something small, because I could acknowledge. In fact, Jason goes over and he I've got 4 dogs and they've got dogs at their house. We all dog sit each other's dogs. He house sits for me. I could call Jason right now and Jason would pick me up from the airport if I needed anything, and vice versa. I've never had a relationship like that with another brother. I've had boys and friends, but someone that I could go, hey, I've got you. And it came from such an unexpected corner. So that's that's just a win. It's something that I never thought that I would see. And I'm happy that I did, because it's made me a better man. It's made me a better performer. It's made me better all the way around.
Now, how did you get back to Broadway? What made you say, you know what, I want to take this trip back to Broadway and do these Broadway shows?
Broadway's my heart. That's where I started. I started off doing musical theater in high school, and that was always my aim. I said one day Broadway was the thing. So the weird little circuitous route that I took to even get on TV and then to get to Broadway was so long. But Broadway was always what I wanted. So this is my 3rd Broadway show now.
Why do you enjoy
Kinky
Broadway
Boots,
so much?
Right? You did.
I did Kinky
Lola.
Boots. I debuted with Chicago the Musical, playing Billy Flynn. Then I did Lola and Kinky Boots. I took over from Billy, so I was the second Lola. Then I did Hamilton in the second company, and then Freestyle Love Supreme.
Nice. And that's an audience participation type of thing. Explain it to me.
Freestyle, hip hop, comedy, where we take suggestions from the audience and we do all the scenes. In fact, you know what? To a degree, it's like, remember Lyricist Lounge?
Yes.
That was
That's
written.
the first place I ever saw Eminem perform.
Really? He was on Lyricist Lounge? Oh, wow.
He used to always do Lyricist Lounge.
I love that show. And what I loved about it was it brought together 2 of my loves, hip hop and comedy. But that was written. This, we are doing scenes using, like, you would give me a suggestion. We would take that word and we either break it down thematically so that the scene or whatever the song is about that. So then you have the 2 types of freestyle, which one is like, that if I'm going through and rhyming about the words in front of me, that's just stream of consciousness.
So if I thought a word right now, you could.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
Okay, ready?
Well, I'm not going to do
Testicle.
Well, see,
Okay.
no, I can do it. No, I can do it.
Gracious, ye.
But that's a word to start off early in the morning. Yeah, see, but like you talking about your testicle, and I'm talking about balls in the parenthetical. If I was to remove one testicle, it would be so not ethical. So I would do a whole scene about that. So I could either rhyme just the word, or we would do a focus scene as characters.
Do you think, why did she think testicle at this time in the morning? She could have said any word.
Because it's a hard word to write.
Because it's a hard
The only thing I could think of was tentacle.
Well, see, I love the fact that you even have two words that sound alike, because the English language is beautiful. But it does lead me back to the fact that I can honestly say to somebody, yeah, I was talking to Angela, and it was in the morning, and the first thing she had on her mind was balls. That's the first thing.
No, just one ball, testicle.
Oh, just one ball.
One ball.
Shout out to Lance Armstrong.
Because I'm not ethical.
Because she's not ethical. But it's an amazing art form, and so Broadway's my heart. And I love doing it because it's a different muscle. On Broadway, if you're doing a musical or if you're doing a play, you can't fake it. Broadway's a small club. TV, film, no shade to anyone that makes their living and is a superstar because of it. But in my opinion, there are a lot of people who get paid millions of dollars and they're horrible. Mm-hmm. It's just the right smile at the right place with the right uncle who has the right thing. Cool, good for you. But can you get in front of an audience that is from here to your wall, looking at you as you are doing a scene and singing a song, and there's no auto-tune, there's an orchestra, there's you, there's costumes, and
there's no first take, second
there's
take,
no first take.
Straight through.
Oops, I'm sorry, can we no,
right.
You go.
And Lin-Manuel Miranda has really changed Broadway a lot, and I know you guys have a special connection.
Man, shout out to Lin. Lin changed the paradigm of what Broadway is and opened the conversation of representation in what has been famously for years called the Great White Way. It truly has been, but now with Hamilton, with In the Heights, being able to see, when I saw In the Heights, I lost my mind. I knew it was something special. Mm-hmm. That like when you see something that gives you goosebumps. When I saw this cast, all brown, caramel complected people, and I'm listening to the Spanish being spoken, and then the instrument. Oh my God, the musical arrangements. When you're you haven't heard that in Oklahoma, in any of the Music Man, right. The Broadway favorites. It was like it brought a flavor to Broadway that opened up a door.
The movie was dope too. I liked the movie too.
The movie
saw
was
that
great.
He came in talking about it like, man, I just seen.
Yeah, I seen it on the plane,
great.
and the movie was great. You know what? My daughter, she's taking acting lessons and acting classes now, and even though there's curses, some bad words in there, I just we're gonna watch that movie this weekend because I just think she would enjoy it.
Absolutely.
You talking about your grown daughter?
No, not my grown daughter. I'm talking about my 8-year-old.
Oh, okay. I was like, she can curse. She's
no,
like
my
18.
8-year-old. But I just think it goes through everything, and it's the singing, it's the feeling, it's everything. I think she'll definitely love that.
I love to go to Broadway, and I want more people to really support it. Like I always take my mom. I took her to see the Tina Turner play.
Isn't Adrienne Warren
oh my
amazing?
Gosh, amazing! That was such a great play. And then I went to go see the Slave play too.
Great show.
Yeah, that was interesting. I didn't know what to expect when I went to see it because they tried not to have any spoilers go out.
It's something,
I
right?
was like,
yeah, that's what I love though. Those shows would never have existed on Broadway a decade ago.
Right.
Never. It just wouldn't happen.
Does it bother you? You do a lot in Broadway. You do a lot for our culture, and you love hip hop. You're from our culture. But does it ever bother you when somebody might say Wayne Brady's too cheesy or he's too crossover-ish? Does that ever bother you at all?
It used to. I won't lie. It used to, because I had a problem with that growing up. And I just talked about this at the Ebony 100. I was presented with the Vanguard Award.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And as part of my speech, I said, that's cool that you all gave me the Vanguard Award. And you know what a Vanguard is? It's the first line. And in the military, it's the advanced force. But to me, a Vanguard is somebody, they don't know that they're a Vanguard. I just was out trying to do what I was doing. And then when you look back and you see other people falling, like, oh shit, that's cool. So I'd had this stuff from when I was in school. My folks are from the Virgin Islands, so I grew up with a thick accent, and my mom made sure that, I was always, we didn't have a lot of money, but she made sure that I was always pressed and put together, and I didn't go out She made sure that I was reading and I was in the books, or I was watching PBS, or so to everyone outside, I was corny. And that bothered me. And it always bothered me that if you talked a certain way, or if you had a certain frame of reference, or if you aspired to be more than the cats around you, some cats are, I'm not going to say all, because every neighborhood is different and we're not a monolithic people. Certain cats around you would want to go, oh, shit, well, you want to be that. It's like, no, I don't want to be anything other than black, but I would like to be of the world. I'm from the hood, but I want to be of the world, and I don't see the problem in that. So to always have that thrown at me, and then once I got on, because it was on a network show, and I'm the only black dude, and it's a primetime show, so there wasn't any cursing, and it was this, and it was a family show. Oh, Wayne's corny, this, blah, blah, blah. He's not that. That bothered me a lot in the beginning, until I realized, also through therapy, that my self-worth, I know who I am, and now I can proudly sit in my skin. I'm black. I was black the day that I was born. I'll be black the day that I die. I love being black, but you can't judge my blackness just like I can't judge yours. I am not the arbiter. So it doesn't bother me anymore, because, in fact, if anything, I do understand what I've done for the culture at this point. I understand my place in entertainment. If you look up I've done so many firsts. I've broken through walls and doors so that there are cats behind me now who some are like a Donald Glover, and cats that are huge global successes. But I'll challenge you and say that there are certain things that some of these cats, even Key and Peele and other black dudes, and Steve Harvey on the game shows, that I was in that space first.
Right.
I made it okay to be in these spaces. And not only to make it okay, but some of the same people, when I was doing a game show first, it's like, look at this corny nigga. Oh, he's making what? And they're doing who? Okay, sign me up.
That's right.
All of a sudden, every game show, there's a black man. Okay, you're welcome.
Right.
So I love that.
Were you surprised when Dave Chappelle reached out and the great feedback you got from doing the Dave Chappelle show? Were you surprised about that?
I'll tell that story in a nutshell. I love Dave Chappelle, and I've loved Dave before, because there was a period of time, that everybody loves Dave now, but there was a period of time, and if you're a comedy fan and a comedy fan of a certain age, I rocked with Dave Chappelle back like when Dave was doing Evening at the Improv, and then when his first movie role,
Half Baked, that was my movie.
Half Baked, but before then, Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
Oh, I'm sure that's
Dave was doing movies. I always
right,
said
he had on tights.
He's like, hey, I love that dude. That dude is so funny, and I loved listening to the musicality of his jokes and the things that he had to say. I always rocked with him. So fast forward to when Dave got his sketch show. I was so excited. I never missed an episode. So I'm sitting down, my barber, because I had hair at the time, my barber is cutting my hair, and shut, the Dave show's on. Okay, the sketches, it's great. And then Wayne Brady makes Brian Gumble looks like, it's like, what the I was so, it wasn't because, and I've gone down on record, God bless Paul Mooney. God bless him, a comedy legend. When I got to talk to Paul years later, I stand by the fact that joke was whack. It's not a funny joke. Folks laughed at it, which comedy is always predicated on the fact that I'm going to make a joke in this room with the 5 of us right now, hoping that at least 3 of you will connect with the universality of what it is. That's why you're going to laugh. So he made that joke based on the fact that he felt that black culture would laugh at Bryant Gumbel and Wayne Brady. Now, the takeaway from that is, I'm big enough in the world and in the culture, and even in the crossover culture, that you're using me as a touch point for your rep. You're welcome, Paul, because damn sure more people in the world knew me than knew Paul. Not in Blackland, but in the world, maybe. Right? So, thanks, Paul. But then you're gonna shit all over Brian Gumbel's accomplishments, and I can just hear the people watching this on YouTube later on. It was just a joke. Lighten the fuck up, Wayne. You know what? Yeah, it's just a joke, but these words have power, and they have power culturally. You would tear down 2 people who were trailblazers in their own thing to get across the point that they're not black enough. You don't own my black card, Paul. Nobody owned my black card. So when I heard that joke, I was like, that's just rough. Okay, cool. Randomly, I'm at an event.
So you heard this joke in front of everybody in the barbershop.
In the
So they
barbershop.
No,
all-
it wasn't my house.
Just
Okay.
him and his
Oh,
barber.
yeah.
He doesn't
Oh,
go
yeah.
to the barbershop.
Come
the
on,
barber
man.
comes to the house.
Come on,
He-
Envy. Tell him, man.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Come on, man. He pulls up with the thing. He's like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
Mr.
come
Brady. He put the yeah, like it's the house thing.
Okay,
So then
sorry.
you pull up to an event.
So I'm at this event. I think it might have even been. I want to say it was the Steve Harvey event. The thing that he used to do in L.A. every year.
The
Oh, the street
awards?
awards. What awards?
The hoodie awards.
The hoodie awards.
Right.
Hoodie awards.
So we'd just gone to the hoodies, and then it was like an after party. Donnell Rollins
Uh-oh.
comes up and some other cats. But I'll tell you, just, hey, man, I got to tell you, he's like, oh, it's Ashy Larry.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, man, Wayne, I'm a big fan. Now, I'd had a couple to drink,
Uh-oh.
so my tongue was loose.
Okay.
And I wasn't on network TV.
Okay.
So I wasn't beholden to anyone before. And shout out to Donnell. I love that
I
cat.
saw he just posted when you shot him on there,
Oh,
too,
man.
just recently.
I love that cat.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Wayne, when I'm such a fan that I was like, really? Well, you're such a fan. Well, fuck y'all in that joke that Mr. Paul Mooney had to make. He's like, no, man, no. Fuck y'all. Okay? I don't have to. Thank you. Good night. You know, it was my movie moment. Thank you. Good night. Pay for their drinks. I'm out. And I walk out. Then 2 days later, I'm on set. I think at the time I was doing my talk show. My assistant gets a phone call. Wayne, it's Dave Chappelle. And what? It's Dave Chappelle. Hello? And it was Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, it's Dave, and I'm so sorry about the sketch. Mooney wrote that joke. I didn't think the shit was funny anyway. I want you to come to New York. Me and Neil, we've got a sketch that we'd love for you to do. I think the shit would be really funny. We need to get there. My heart jumped out my chest. Yes. Are you kidding? Yes. We did it in a whirlwind. I got on the plane. We flew in. They said, here is the concept. We're thinking of doing like this training day thing, and we'll play with the image of what it is. I said, cool. I wrote the bit where I sang the song and killed the police officer, and then the sandwich thing at the end, and we shot it all in one night. It was amazing, and I knew when we were doing it that it was going to be special. And I did it for a couple of reasons. I did it, because Dave Chappelle asked me, and that's a blessing. And then I also knew that my talk show was ending, so I kind of had this little beef with the Buena Vista people from Disney, because I was the first talk show host, not just talk show host, black talk show host, talk show host period, to win that Emmy first time out the gate. Two years in a row, and to win a primetime Emmy at the same time. And they still canceled my show because I wouldn't jump through hoops for them. And so when I said, no, I will not do X, Y, and Z, because I saw what was happening. I said, look, I'm being laughed at by my peers. Chris Rock just made a Wayne Brady joke because I have a daytime show where I'm doing cooking segments with a little old lady from Oregon. And I'm doing all these things. And I'm like, that wasn't the show that I was promised. I was promised the Arsenio Hall show in daytime. Said, you can change daytime. I said, well, yeah, that's why I had a band. I was, yeah, I'm ready. And I looked at myself as I'm cracking eggs with Marge. God bless Marge. He's like, well, Wayne, all you have to do is put the eggs in and whisk it. It's like, that's right, Marge. We'll be right back. Oh, my God, what's happening to me? So I knew that the writing was on the wall. So then they wanted me to jump through X hoops and Y hoops. I said, no. I see jokes being made about me. You will not whitewash me. I need to do the show that I was going to do. No. If you don't do what we ask you to, we can find someone to do the show. Well, and this was in a meeting. I won't say the exec's name, but this was a meeting, and I said, well, if you could find someone to do the Wayne Brady show, then please do. Please do find someone to do that show. I'll talk to you later. Monday, in the trades, Buena Vista gives talk show to Tony Danza.
Oh.
Tony Danza.
Wow.
Angela. Nothing against Tony D'Angela, but me, and then Angela. So I was like, oh, so if I'm canceled, there's a freedom that comes with being canceled, and I still had most of the season to do. So we had this fight at the beginning of the season. So you mean you can take my show away from me and still have a whole season? Oh, shit. Thank you. Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes, Outkast, Tweet. I had every R&B act, every hip-hop act that I wanted came on the show. It was beautiful. because part of what they were banning me from is to have the musical acts, because that's not in the demo that we're going for. Well, I don't know which demo you were going for.
Right.
So it was a beautiful freedom. So doing that sketch was the cap to the end of the season, when someone is going to watch, and it blew up the way that it did. It was Wayne Brady have to choke a bitch, and it became this thing.
I still
and
love that
was
to
my
this
way
day.
of saying thank you, bye-bye, I'm done with that chapter of my life.
That's so dope.
But it was a surprise to some folks, and it's funny when cats even now, I didn't even know how, 15 years or something, man, you know, Wayne, man, I fuck with that sketch. I love you now. It's like, that's cool that you love me now. But I didn't know that you had that in you. I always knew, because you only saw what I was doing on TV. You never saw my live act. So it was a beautiful way. So I will always be grateful to Dave for giving me that match to light the daytime talk show on fire.
That's dope. Now, you have a show now where people didn't necessarily love what you were doing. Let's make a deal. Some white people were leaving messages, and they were racist messages and all that. So what happened? What did you do to make the white people so upset?
Well, see, you know, on the flip side, I'm blickety black now.
Right. Too black for some people, not black enough for some people.
Bingo. It's like a CB4, remember? Because I'm black, y'all. I'm black, y'all. That's the funniest thing. If you go on the Let's Make a Deal message boards, depending on the day of the week, I'll have some white folks. I am not watching this. One dude, I saved this one because I sent it to the vice president of the network. I loved this show at one point, but now it's like I'm watching a show on ... capital letters, BET.
Wow.
Discriminatory. I liked you first, Wayne Brady, but all you do is you pick black people. Four messages down. You're a disgrace, Wayne Brady. Whose ass are you kissing? All these white people that you always making deals with.
Woo.
You don't want us to get ahead. I'm like, you all watch the same damn show.
They had the completely opposite reaction.
You watch the same show. So at this point, I'm like, look, you know what? It is what it is. I pick who, and the thing is, I don't pick the people. So spoiler alert, I don't pick all the people. They are vetted. But I will say what is good, and I'm not going to apologize for this, and shout out to the production crew and Fremantle of Let's Make a Deal. We have made sure that show is inclusive of black people, of Latin people, of gay people, of trans people, of gay couples, the folks that will play black. Because if you look at a lot of game shows, there's not a lot of people of color. And when there are people of color, they've been carefully curated to, let's just say, show one particular side of us that then the producers can frame some of the games. So like, well, I'm sorry, Marquita, that you couldn't answer that question. No, there's none of that. So if you're going to get mad at me because we are giving everyone an equal shot, sure, yes. And yeah, like that dude he had his 15 minutes of fame, leaving me that message on the CBS voice line. But they just played that one. I get those every other day.
Wow, that's
oh yeah.
That is crazy. That is.
It's the world we live in.
It's
and people act like it's, I don't see color. But
come on, that's the most racist thing that you can say. Even if you're black and you say that, there's no way that you can't look at someone and see color. You can see color, but respect the person. And so to not see someone's color is a blatant shitting in the face of their culture. I want to be able to look at someone and go, oh, you are Latin, I love the Latin culture. Oh, you are Asian, I love this. And I'm not going to go, oh, no. All I see is Jeffrey. No, I'm not going to say
impossible.
that. No.
Now, I think I don't know if I seen you in Atlantic City with my wife or Vegas. I can't remember. I think it was Atlantic City. But when you do stand-up now, is there anything that you stay away from?
He doesn't call it stand-up, right?
Yeah, like it's improv. Because it's improvisational stand-up.
Okay, so when you do improv, when you perform on stage, is there anything that you stay away from? Because you see everybody will cancel you in a minute. You see they tried to cancel Dave.
Yeah.
They'll try to cancel this person. So anything that you stay away from?
Yeah, you know what? I think what I try to stay away from now is I'm very mindful of, and this is going to sound silly to some people, especially when, like, if you're an actor, you should just act. Or if you're telling jokes, you tell jokes. I try to stay away from punching down even with accents and characters. And it's something that I try to teach even as an acting coach and whatnot, is that, for instance, if I ask the audience for a suggestion about, give give me a name or someone that like I've got a business. What kind of business do I have? And someone raises their hand and say, you ma'am, and they say, you're a gardener. Okay, great. And I go
Envy.
to some.
Shut up.
Envy's a gardener.
I am not a gardener.
On his Wikipedia.
Charlamagne changed my Wikipedia and put I was a gardener growing up, and people really believe that.
Oh
so
my
when I do
God.
interviews, they're
That's
like,
so funny that you picked
they're
gardener.
like, so you were a gardener.
Okay, so
growing
Envy,
up.
raise your
I'm not
hand.
no goddamn gardener.
So he's a gardener.
I'm not a gardener. I was never a gardener.
That is the problem with open source knowledge. That is democracy at its
No,
worst.
people believe it. Like, so you were a gardener before you started DJing? I'm like, no, I wasn't a gardener. It was like, on your Wikipedia it says gardener.
You need to change that.
I change
He
every
doesn't
time I
know
change it.
how.
I think Charlamagne changes it back.
See, that's when you know that you're rich and got too much time. Just going in and changing the Wikipedia.
He hired someone to do that.
So go ahead. So somebody said, be a gardener, not
So-
Envy, but be a gardener.
So they say, be a gardener. And I could say, well, give me a name. And of course, it's in someone's neural tract to say, Jose, because they think that's funny. Jose, you're going to be Jose the gardener. Now, that is a stereotype
It is.
that we've seen in many movies, all over.
Correct.
So I could, and then immediately you do the voice, hey, you do that thing, and folks will laugh, and it's cute, but I wouldn't do that because I look at that as culturally punching down. I wouldn't make and if someone said, oh, you're Chinese, I would not do what is a stereotypical character voice making fun of someone who is Chinese or Japanese. Now that's different if I were actually trying to respectfully do the voice of someone who is a legitimate character, not going for laughs or in telling a story. But I do believe that there's a way to get around those things. You don't have to punch down. You don't have to make fun of a people. If I were playing a character that was labeled self-labeled as gay, there's a way to play him and not go for the easy laughs of ooh girl and you do the whole thing. That's cool. That's been done. We've seen that done for years, from Men on Film to everything. I, as a black man, knowing what I know now at 49, I don't need to punch down at other people and make those jokes because I've been punched on as a black man, seeing other people in blackface or make jokes at my expense and my people's expense. So the best I can do is try not to. So I try to stay off limits from that. I try to stay off from certain female topics because as a man, I can make my funny, and my wife and it's her period and da-da-da. That's old. It's hack. It's been done. That the challenge is look for the new shit.
Got you.
Because you're not going to run out of things that are funny because life is happening daily. That's funny.
Right. All right. Well, Wayne Brady,
Well, this was amazing.
it was a great time.
Oh,
Thank you
I'm
thanks,
so
much.
glad. It is a different vibe having you here in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. And can I say, I'm such a fan, and I want to thank y'all. And I know that Charlamagne isn't here right now, but I'm so proud of what you all mean to the culture and conversation, especially in the past few years and the issues that you guys tackle. Because when you speak and when you have people on here, and I know this is a major platform for us, and when you have people on here, folks listen. And so it's humbling to be in this space. So
Well, thank you for joining
thanks,
us, man.
man.
We really appreciate it, man. And definitely catch you on Broadway. Tell them how they can get tickets, what shows, and all
Yeah.
that other stuff, so people can come support.
It's called Freestyle Love Supreme. I'm in the show this week, but it's a revolving cast of people. Lin-Manuel is in it. If you're a fan of Hamilton, if you've seen it on Disney Plus or on Broadway, Chris Jackson, who played Washington, Chris is in it. James Iglehart, who is the original genie in Aladdin, now he's in Hamilton. He's in it. If you're a Broadway fan, if you're a fan of hip hop, if you're a fan of comedy, it's at the Booth Theater. I believe it's 45th and Broadway. I'm in it until this Saturday night is my last show. You can buy tickets at freestylelovesupreme.com. I promise you an amazing show. In fact, tonight, talk about amazing happenstances. Kid from Kid and Play, aka Chris Reed. I ran into him at the hotel. Chris is coming tonight to watch the show. I'm hoping to drag him up on stage.
Ooh.
because he's a stand-up comedian.
Right, he can do it.
And I mean, come on. He's
Right.
Yeah. So we're trying to attract hip hop legends, and in fact, you guys have an open invitation. I would love to give you tickets if you're free any night. Please come check it out.
Absolutely.
Sounds good to me. Well,
Oh,
thank
wait.
you.
Before
What's
you
up?
leave, just 3 quick answers to these quick questions, okay?
Okay. Yes.
All right. Improv versus scripted.
It's a tie.
That's not. You can't do that.
I can't choose one. No, I can't.
All right. TV host versus Broadway.
Broadway.
And married life versus single life.
Married life or single life until I find that person that I'd like to be married to.
You'll do it again.
Oh, are you single?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I'm not married, but I'm in a
No. And I wasn't asking
know,
you
but
that
yeah.
today because I was just saying.
Because I guess if you're not married, are you considered single if you're not married?
No.
No.
It's in a relationship.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like it's a different. Like being single has its space, and so I'm single, and I like that space. I like going home. I like playing my Xbox in my drawers. I like doing what I like doing.
Can't you do that though if you're married still?
You can, but I don't like the part of being married or being in a relationship that I realize I don't like is I don't like being beholden in the best way. Hey, baby. No, I'll be there. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Oh, okay, sweetie. All right.
Maybe get her a house next to your house and you be in between.
If I do get together with someone, I am going to follow that model. I'm going to have my own house and she'll have hers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Well, that's why I'm waiting.
All right. It's Wayne Brady. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.